You like to play a bunch?
I do.
Good, I do too.
I may not be as comfortable. I may watch you play more. That's it. We'll see how I feel, but I don't mind you playing at all.
I imagine you warm up pretty quick. I like that mist, man. That's pretty neat. That's neat.
Is there any wood in this first drop? Right up on the left bank?
There wasn't a couple of days ago. We were on this, today's Friday, we were on this, I was on it Tuesday. There wasn't anything Tuesday.
There's probably nothing there now. I know I used to run it right up on the bank.
Oh, did you?
An angle about a 30 or 45 degree right.
I may follow you and see what you're doing.
I mean, I was as close as we are to the bank
Huh.
previously. Oh, this is double drop. I thought we were at the falls. It's been a few days since I've been out here. I was thinking we were at the falls.
No, that's quite a ways.
Yeah. Yeah, it's past Thread the Needle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah. Yeah. Now there's a little surf wave right there. Believe it or not, in the middle of nowhere. There's a little drop, I guess, and then right over here on River Right, there's a little shoot. I mean, if you like attainment, there's a great spot.
There's that rock island that's about the size of a truck out there.
That's where I'm talking about. If you go through this chute, you can kind of ferry over from there and attain back up and go back. It just came on. Hey, Buck. It's a for me, it's a nice little warm-up spot.
Oh yeah. Whenever I left behind the rock island, came up and turned in, I was like, oh, there's a tree down over where it used to go.
Ah.
So I turned it a little lower.
If they've got two going, they're not all the way on yet.
Yeah.
Still pretty low.
It's fast, but it loses its ankles. Easy. There's so much surface area to get turned.
Right. I'm still getting used to this tail on this thing. It's got reverse rocker on it.
Yeah.
But for me, I suppose I'm probably a little like you. I mean, I like the nature as much as anything else. But for a long time, most of the people I was paddling with, they were just interested in the water, you know, the white water. I finally started to find some people my age, which helps a lot.
It does. You can't push on the bulkhead. If I had folded here, I would be fine. I need to adjust it just a inch.
Roger that. You need a hand?
No, just one. Pull it one notch closer.
Get it?
Yeah. Now I can push and use my knees a little bit more.
Well, as long as it's been, I can definitely tell you know what you're doing more than I do.
I was getting ready to paddle into the green to watch the race.
Oh,
When I hurt myself.
heck.
But I am exhausted already.
The joys of getting older. The joys of getting older. What's that? What's that, sir?
Water snake. I'm just buck.
Oh.
Sir.
No, I didn't.
He's crawling up on the far right side of that rock. That's what I was splashing when I tried to eddy out and came in 20 foot low.
Oh, copperhead. Oh, no.
It's basically where your stern's at. If you were to peel out, you'll be looking at him. He's on top of the rock.
Oh, copper. Yeah, copperhead, for sure. Yeah, that's a copperhead.
Really? I thought it was water snake.
Let me get a look at his head.
Yeah, I think his head's a little small.
Oh,
Oh, he's moved up.
it's a water snake. Yeah. A little round head and little bitty round eyes. For sure.
So I used to scoot by where you're at. Get up above that wave.
Right.
Bury across and drop in on the wave rock over there. Where it freezes.
Right.
I would work up and above this little shelf here all the time.
What you doing, buddy?
It's one of my favorite moves. If you lose your angle or don't get any speed, you'll wash down and have a real tough ferry. But if you peel out and get a good high run, you're up in that flat water instead of battling these waves. And it's just a nice, you can arc up and charge downstream and eddy out right on where that little ripple is on that rock.
Right.
But I'm out of shape and it's tough for me to do.
Yeah, I'm not here to work. I'm just here to have fun. Or whatever. Uh-huh.
It's a deep pool. Stern squared out of here really.
Somebody could. I couldn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, any slossy boat,
Uh-huh.
that is a sharp eddy line.
There's a few surprising eddy lines on this river. That's for sure. You going down a bit?
Yeah.
Whole drink of water.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's not a whole lot I can front surf here. There's a wave down there at Devil Shoals I probably can, leading into it.
Uh-huh.
There's one down here, if I can catch it, I probably have to attain up to it and thread the needle. I've seen long boats on it.
I know which wave you're talking about. I don't think I can catch that one without it rocking me. Talking about the one just upriver from it?
Yeah.
River left?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
I've attained that in a short boat once when I was in real good shape, and several times in a long boat. I don't think there's any way I can get to it today.
I can get through on river left, depending on the boat I'm in. I could not get through with this boat the other day to save my life. I don't know if it's the tail.
Flatten it out.
It could be. But in my Axiom, I can actually get up pretty easy. This one, I don't know if it's that reverse thing or maybe it's just my excuse.
A lot of rocker kills hull speed too.
I don't like that much front rocker. I would prefer less.
I like fast boats. I like rocker and I like fast boats.
I like to surf.
Rocker helps. You don't pull.
Well,
you can lean back a little.
yeah. I like my Axiom an awful lot as far as the hull shape on it, and its front rocker's about like that.
I remember these having a lot of rocker, but it's like I can't lean around it and look. It's like,
yeah, that's nothing compared to this beast.
oh yeah.
This thing is like looking at a barge from the driver's seat.
This boat looks really thin from
It looks,
seated in it.
yeah, it looks pretty thin here too.
You going left or right?
I'm probably gonna just go through the needle and then curl back around and go into it. I may try to attain right there going back up on river left.
Yeah.
Like I said, in my Axiom, I can actually do it fairly easy. In this boat, I could not the other day. I'll probably give it a shot at least once or twice and grunt a whole bunch. Maybe complain a little bit.
It's nice out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I like the green. Everything's starting to bloom. The rhododendrons and on the Teleco the other day, me and a fellow were treated to a really close up of a red-tail hawk coming in,
yeah,
right in front of us. And then we got a real big treat after that. A bald eagle came swooping in. He saw him from a distance, and you could see that eagle coming in from like, I don't know.
I saw you post the video, but I didn't get to watch it because I was driving.
Oh, it's worth watching.
Yeah.
It's only about a few seconds, but that bald eagle comes in and he's got something in his claws. Otherwise, I think it probably would have ruined the hawk's day.
Yeah.
But it was still good though. And then they chased each other off.
I'm going to shoot ahead of it. I've got a good bit of speed. I go back off and
Roger that. There's your wave you're talking about, I think. I might be able to get it right now. Maybe. I'm only gonna give the one try today. I don't have it in me. But that's a good path right there.
Yeah. You almost have to hit those rocks, it seems like. You probably will every time I've ever done it.
I swear to God, I can actually stall myself out right there and just kind of hang out, catch my breath in my axiom, not in this.
I've never been able to.
And then from there, I can just kind of slide up and over to the right. In this boat, I cannot do it to save my life.
You might just wheelchair moving up through that little path right there.
Yeah.
Cheap, but
I do that for the challenge.
yeah.
I do not have enough.
Just look at that eddy and it comes through.
I cannot control this boat's edges yet.
I'm not rotating, I'm just using all arms. I have no core in my strokes.
So have you run the Green River?
No.
One of my favorite pastimes is to watch the Shane Benedict commentary at Gorilla.
Yep.
He's got some of the best commentary, man. He's hilarious. I mean, it's fun to watch anyway, but listening to him talk is just a hoot.
Yeah.
I have yet to figure out what this tail is doing. Every now and again I feel like, oh, it's engaging, but it's not. I don't know what's happening. Got to figure it out.
Next time you try and do something, I'll watch and see if I can tell what's going on.
Well, tell me what's happening whenever, because as I come up over that one little wave, I mean, I guarantee you can see where I'm trying to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a green path right there.
Yeah.
But as soon as I come over that first wave, it feels like this is pulling me backwards.
Underwater.
Huh.
It loads.
So it is pulling me back.
Yeah. So that's why you're probably just kind of rocking
Yeah.
from every input you give with
Yeah.
your paddle strokes.
Yeah, it feels like
Yeah.
every tiny input is making
Yeah, you
A
pivot
correct-
just a little bit.
a correction way too big.
Yeah. Every time you pivot with your body to change paddle stroke,
Yeah,
the back of the boat is just kind of,
like a duck.
yeah,
That's what it feels like.
yeah.
Lord have mercy. So that whole thing's underwater.
But where the back of the boat looks like this, it just drops down. The
Yeah.
handle is right at the surface of the water.
Huh.
And now where you're sitting, it's out of the water. So I mean, the back of the boat's 6 inches lower. So that gives you more rock
Right.
or bow rock.
The boat's too smart for me. I think what it is.
Kind of the way phones are. And
Yeah. I might need a dumber boat.
pull the bulkhead out, throw a sandbag up there to keep it from loading.
Yeah. Or just gain some weight, right? Yeah,
Do you like chili cheese fries and little nutties?
it's shocking the number of calories I eat. Yeah, I think I'm actually below the bottom of the weight scale for this boat.
That will, if you gain the weight, that'd give you a longer water line and make it faster too.
Right. Yeah.
So it's doing this because you're so light.
Yeah.
Every input makes it
Bounce.
wobble. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like a cork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I prefer to be at the 50% or higher in your weight range if I can help it.
Yeah, me too. I can't find a boat my feet fit in. I've actually only found one boat so far other than this, and that's the Axiom.
Yeah.
But it's the large also. So I'm at the bottom of its weight scale too. However, it's a lot flatter boat.
Yeah.
And so I can control it a bunch easier.
Yeah. You don't have as much of a dramatic bobber.
Right.
It's, you have less surface area in the movement.
I actually don't even feel like I'm floating it, to be honest. It really does feel like I'm on a cork. But I like it. Pretty boat.
Thank you.
I was talking about his. Be quiet.
Do you ever paint up this side? Not to really run the needle, but just, it gives you a different view of it.
Yeah.
There's little boiling eddies.
Yeah. I do sometimes.
If you ever look at that wing wall that's sticking out,
Uh-huh.
back this side of it, you can see the water boil through.
Oh, yeah.
And then stop. There's a sieve there.
Yeah. And I'm sure you've seen this at low water. It's terrifying.
I've seen spiders on it that were terrifying. I'm not real fond of spiders.
Well, I mean, the whole thing looks like Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
And yeah, that right there, I've only flipped there once and caught my roll. And I think I had to wait till it actually rotated me around against the current.
Oh.
Initially, I kept trying, and just because the boils and the whirlpools, it wouldn't let me.
I used to have a good roll. I don't want to be that cold the rest of the day right now.
I was surprised to see the generators today. I didn't think they were starting weekend release until next weekend.
They're not supposed to, but they may have had enough rain up north that they're just pushing some of the water down.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening.
Yell at me like Joe would. If you see me reaching back here, tell me just to stop.
No?
I know better. I just like, turn, don't turn. Get the paddle up here.
Yeah.
A bow draw is not back here. You've got no leverage on these things.
Like I say, man, I like having fun. And I mean, I've started this late enough in life. I have no aspirations or ambitions. I'm just, oh, sorry about that.
You're good.
Just thrilled to be here, if you get my drift.
I am a perfectionist.
Yeah.
I bet forge knobs. I ride motorcycles really, really hard and fast. Anything that I do,
Yeah.
I want to do it really, really well.
Roger
If I
that.
can't do it real well, I don't want to do it.
Okay. Yeah.
But I want to do it if it's fun.
Sure.
If I'm not having fun, I'll quit. But Joe has figured out, because I'm a construction worker, you can be kind of abrasive with me.
I've been in construction in the military my whole life, and
What kind of construction work do you do?
I don't anymore.
What did you do?
Well, I came up as a field engineer.
Oh, okay.
So I was a land surveyor in the Marine Corps,
Okay.
which would probably explain the field engineer thing.
Yep.
So that's just doing land survey on a construction job site.
Yep.
And then from there, I ended up getting into management with Roy Anderson. Built a couple of casinos with those guys, and then went back to school for design. Have a degree in architecture, but I've never used it.
I'm a union electrician. I've been doing that right after I got out of hospital.
Lot of honor in that.
Well, I wanted to go into the Marines, but my parents wouldn't let me.
You look like you're probably about my age, so
I'm 47.
I got you by a little bit. So 7 years.
Yeah, the years haven't been kind to me.
Yeah, I understand.
Quite all the hard living and divorces I've been through.
You would have actually, man, if they would have let you, the timing of your enlistment, if you'd have just done 4, you probably just would have partied for 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a section of time between
95, 96.
Yeah, I mean, but between then and 2001,
Yeah.
where, I mean, mostly we were just recovering from 1991. I mean, because 91, they didn't really know exactly what all was going to be going on, and so they actually started calling back all the IRR, the inactive reserves.
Yeah.
We had a fellow in my unit. He'd been out for 3.5 years. So he'd only had 6 months left on that IRR contract. Had started a business, married a gal, had a kid, and they called him back.
Oh.
But the bad thing is when they call you back, they don't just call you back for whatever that deployment is. You're automatically called back for 2 years.
Oh, I figured it was 4.
Nah, 2. But still, he was a sergeant when he got out, and they called him back as a lance corporal. Nobody messed with him.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody just gave him a wide berth. Leave that man alone.
Yeah.
Everybody felt bad for him, man. But anyway, it threw all the deployment schedule into upheaval, and so for about the next 4 years, they were just catching up because they deployed everyone. But, I mean, they cut my school short in Fort Sill. We reported to Camp Lejeune, and I think 4 days later we were heading over to Middle East. Well, Ahmed, and then Turkey and Israel after that. But ready to go down a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm here to have fun.
Yeah, me too. Unfortunately, I probably can't help you with that.
If I catch myself doing bad things, I'll just quietly cry.
Yell at yourself. Choke yourself now.
So you've only been paddling 8 months?
Yes, sir. Well, August of last year. And what happened was I was on this river in a Pelican from Walmart, and I was fishing, and they released the water that day, and I was way up yonder, and I said to myself, let's go downriver. I mean,
didn't have a whole lot of choice though, did you?
I could have got out right where I was.
Okay.
But in my head, I knew how to paddle.
Okay.
I've been paddling all my life,
Right.
but on South Louisiana stuff in canoes.
This is a little bit different.
It's just a whole bunch different. Anyway,
Sarcasm's my second language.
I went over probably that drop right there.
Yeah, this is where I was like, is there a tree over there?
And yeah, and I remember, I mean, that cockpit on that Pelican is like twice the size of this. And I remember watching the water go in just real slow at first, and I knew what was getting ready to happen.
Yeah.
Long story short, after dragging a 1,500-pound boat to the shore probably 3 times between here and the takeout,
Yeah.
I got home that day and I was like, honey, we have to get a different boat. And then I started getting hooked up with some whitewater folks, and
Are you in TVCC?
I was.
I was gonna say that's the group that paddles all the rivers around here.
Yeah, I know most of the guys.
Okay. I'm not saying they provide the greatest instruction, but some of the higher level paddlers are really good.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah, some of them are real good.
a lot of them are real good.
Yeah. Well, I don't know many of them that are still in the club
Yeah.
because all the people that I used to paddle with are out of it and gone.
I guarantee there's one that's still there, Spencer Lycan.
Yes, I saw a picture of Spencer that was posted the other day.
Yeah. Yeah, he's for sure still there. I'd be surprised if we didn't see him today. He's a character.
He is. And I think he got pinned, if I'm not mistaken, down here on this long ass ledge, shore, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, he's the one that got pinned. And it's like, it's 10 inches deep. How can you get pinned there? Here's that. He was in on the rescue of one of the other members.
He got pinned in front of me, right in front of Broken Nose. And like, I mean, when I say right in front, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I was hot on his heels, and he's got some shoulder issues these days. But
One of those is what hurt me. Stopped me from paddling in the green.
is it?
Yeah.
Man.
Concussion, bruised ribs.
Good grief.
It was a rough day in 2016.
It sounds like it. I never go where I want to go here, so I always end up going right of it a little bit and then remembering there's a good boof rock right here somewhere,
Yeah.
and I always miss it. And I can't remember if it's this one or that one. Ah, it's that one. Well, I don't know. Either that one or... I think it's this one up here. I never hugged that. Me personally.
I always used to. I used to run right up on the rock there in the back.
Huh.
I've got them there for one time.
Yeah. So what I was thinking is right there. Yeah.
Turn off that green wave,
Uh-huh.
that pond. There used to be a tree that was bigger around than our boats.
Right.
Laying there. Pointing right.
See that little edge right there? I have accidentally caught that one time, and it was just the most beautiful feeling in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And I can never get it again. I've missed it every time. I can never remember where it's at.
Yeah, when I was coming up to it, I'm like, is that them right up against us? I'm like, no, it ain't. Have you ever boat scouted anything?
On here?
Like, I mean, just before, like you're trying to attain and just kind of back up and look at something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I say that sometimes when the mood strikes.
Yeah.
Unlike you, I'm not trying to be perfect at this.
Well, I didn't know if you knew, since you're new enough, I didn't know if you knew that was a tool. Because this river isn't fast enough that it's like,
Oh yeah.
close enough to look.
Yeah,
it's like, it's just gonna wash you over.
Yeah.
Some things you can't do that way, but a lot of stuff you actually, depending on how strong you can handle in the current,
Yeah.
you can use it as a tool.
Yeah, I actually tried scouting probably the middle part of S-turn on the Cardi one day, and there's actually a lot of flow right there, about 3 feet, and it took me backwards back down that right into Whirlpool.
Yep.
And it was a hoot.
I've been down the Cardi Canyon one time.
Man, that's a fun river.
Yeah. If it didn't rain so much, what was it, last week when we had all the water?
Uh-huh.
I was going to go just to paddle it because
Yeah.
I've got all this gear. I haven't paddled it forever. And I was going to support the TVCC's beginners group.
Right.
They're like, no, it's canceled. I'm like, I just want to go paddle with someone. It's like, I don't know who to paddle with anymore.
Another fella that paddles an awful lot is in your neck of the woods. He lives in Cleveland. Joe Hoffer. He's well, he's the admin of the group for the Hiwassee meetup thing.
Yeah.
But real good fella. He's an attorney. He's a prosecutor there in Cleveland.
Oh.
A county prosecutor. But he's out here pretty much all the time. Or the Cardi K or the Ocoee.
I think I responded to something. I think I responded to something that he posted.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I've got set up on my Facebook, but I don't get notifications. It just doesn't pop up. I have to go back and look.
Right.
And depending on if I'm working or I've been trying to build a drill, so if I'm out grinding and welding and stuff, I may forget about it.
Right.
Oh, wow, posted out there, tag me in it. I may you don't get the notification for 6 months.
Ah. I was actually surprised this morning I didn't have service. I don't know.
That towel wasn't even there.
Yeah, probably not. They just put it up.
Well, the last time I worked up at the powerhouse, it wasn't there. That's been 2 years ago? 3
Yeah.
years ago?
Water sure is chilly today. Went on a raft trip with a group last fall, and the little guide we had was one of the longboat fellas.
Yep.
And every time he'd pass a longboat, he'd be screaming, "Paddle faster!"
What was his name?
Zach Aragon.
Yeah. Have you ever watched any of the longboat guys paddling grumpies do the attainments and workouts? I would never that comfortable up there.
I've never run grumpies. Every time I've run grumpies, I take river right all the way.
Oh, okay. Wait till you swim it. I've always heard that's a bad swim, and I'm like,
I'm not gonna find out.
yeah, I ain't gonna swim it. No.
I'm just not that ambitious.
Well, the first time I ever ran it, I followed Mako rear, hang a left, follow the tongue of water, and it's like, man, that's easy. And I was in whatever Piranha's little bitty spud boat was.
Yeah.
It wasn't a play boat, but it was like 6.5, 7 foot long. A little bitty slow boat. I just plowed through everything. I'm like, this is easy.
Right.
I'm never gonna walk it. Plowed through it for years, and then finally one time I'll just go out there and demo boats. Just plow through everything. I bought a boat from Kirk Edelman.
Uh-huh.
A flying squirrel, a black flying squirrel.
Yeah.
Don't ever buy a black boat. You can't see them on the water. They're invisible.
Yeah.
Spun, dropped into the ledge sideways, and I'm like, oh, this ain't cool, this ain't cool. And I'm like, I'm gonna swim. This really ain't cool. And as soon as I reached for the skirt, it spit me out, but I'd already pulled it. And I'm like, oh, this is what they've been warning me about.
Yeah.
It was like standing in a batting cage.
Oof.
Yeah, it's shallow down through there.
Oof.
The bad part was I swam river left.
Yeah.
Nothing but sawbriars, thistle. Yeah, should have got beat up and went river right. Someone was kind enough to put my paddling boat on the bank for me though.
That's nice of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've only actually swam on the Ocoee once, and it was, I mean, ironically enough, what's the very last rapid before the tubes? Is it Flipper?
Yeah.
Yeah. At the very bottom of Flipper, I don't know what happened, but as I was going over, I whacked my head real good.
Yeah.
Come out the boat, and I'm in flat water. And
Hollywood Hole.
yeah,
Flipper, then
yeah.
Hollywood.
So I was in flat water, and so everybody's looking at me like I'm an idiot.
I demoed a brat when it first come out. And I demoed it about 3 times. I brought it over here, and then it's like, I'm gonna take it over there. So I did a slice and dice. No, I put on not the ramp, but the takeout, or the put in where you do.
Right. Staging Eddie?
Rails,
yeah.
The rails there.
Oh, yeah. Rails to the tubes, yeah.
Yeah, I flipped over at the rock, jump rock, whatever it's called there, where they tie the rafts together.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I'm sitting in the eddy. Boom, over I go. I'm like, this bullshit. So, after I peeled out there, I swam left, right, left. And I couldn't get the boat. I swam all the way to go Fourth Creek.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
That's a long swim.
As soon as I get close to the bank, I'm like, I ain't gonna make it. I gotta get back out into the channel. And then I'd swim to the other side. Now I gotta get back out in the channel.
The absolute funniest thing I've ever seen, it's kind of like, not exactly, but that same trip I was talking about where Zach was the raft guide, another Zach was one of our support boaters with the group, and he had just gotten out of his boat on shore just to take a leak or something, and then his boat started drifting into current, and he ended up trying to chase his boat, then swimming after his boat, and it was just, it was almost like watching the Three Stooges. It was great. Yeah, that's part of that mating pair. Their nest is river center, down from here a little bit. Let's see if I can get a little video. Those are the most majestic birds, man.
That still looks kind of juvenile, kind of small compared to some of them that I've seen up here.
I think that's the girl. And I'm saying that like I'm some kind of expert. I'm not, but they have a, you'll see it when we start to get close.
Yeah.
Pretty big nest right in the middle of the river. And a lot of times you'll actually see them in the nest together.
Yeah.
For all I know, that might be one of the chicks from last year.
Do you have a path that you usually take down through here? Or you just
I'd normally start way over there.
kind of ferry and work your way in?
Yeah.
I know there's a deep pond that runs kind of left center, and there's also a pretty deep pond that's up there.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna kind of fish my way left and then back right. Yeah. There's some good channels that I know there. Hopefully he didn't leave too much plastic behind.
Yeah, I was like, scrape. That cost me $5. Scrape, that was $5.
I tell you one thing that me and Hopper have done a few times that I don't care if people make fun of us or not. I've got a tater.
Yeah.
And we paddle that down the Ocoee.
Yeah.
That's more fun than a roller coaster. That is more fun than a roller.
I've heard about them. I've never seen one in person.
If you've never run table saw in an inflatable,
yeah.
you hadn't lived.
Yeah.
It's a hoot. It's a big time. He's kind of over it already for the season, so he's back to hard boats. But I'm craving it, man. It was so much fun last time we did it. I'm ready to go do that again. But I probably need to do this too.
Yeah.
Because even though I'm not trying to be perfect or whatever, I am trying to get a little bit better.
Yeah. Well, in your quest to be better, what do you need to work on?
Probably combat roll. That's my big.
Thread the needle is a place to practice.
Oh yeah.
I was like, that's
yeah. I know.
idea. That's.
Yeah, I know.
I had a splash top. I'd flip it over.
Yeah.
Well, I would say we could do it at the creek. You can do it down there at.
I could. I'm not going to today.
Yeah.
But whenever, to answer your question though, the only thing in my arsenal that I probably just don't have a super amount of confidence in is that. I mean, I've had some decent combat rolls. I mean, I rolled right there, and slice and dice I've rolled. Well, I got flipped and then rolled up, no issue.
You have good technique on like your sweep, your forward stroke, as far as you know. I mean, I probably can't diagnose it for you. I'm just asking. Do you have good form as far as you know?
No, probably not. But that being said, honestly, I don't think I've ever followed anybody that I couldn't follow.
Right. If
that makes any sense.
Right.
So I don't know if I'm doing something right or wrong as far as that goes. I'm sure it's wrong according to Gridger.
Yeah.
But I mean, according to Spencer, well, I mean, it depends on who you listen to. I mean,
you're getting your fundamentals dialed into what they're supposed to be will make you more efficient.
Sure.
Where if I'm not using maximum effort, like if my technique was where it would be or where it should be, I should have made that a table.
Sure.
It's not muscle.
Sure.
It's actual
technique.
Because your forward stroke should be basically this.
Yeah.
Rotation, not arms.
Sure.
And your sweep stroke should be, I can't remember where, I think it's anchored, basically hand on chest and forward.
Oh yeah. My lessons with Joe were recent enough that I could probably
remember that.
We'll give you all that and outline all that for somebody, but just not terribly interested. Like Like, I'm not trying to race anybody.
Right.
Like, my goal, like what I said, honestly, is probably Wilson's Creek and North Chick.
But moving out of 2-3 into 3+ and 3-4, which if you move beyond the Ocoee, the difference is how efficient. Like whenever I was doing those S turns, as soon as, like whenever I passed from the front of your boat, those eddy turns, I'm sorry, if you do that bow turn, you can set your paddle in the water and use it as a sail.
Right.
Efficiently just coast to make ferries.
Sure.
But it's the same thing. It's the dexterity of how you feel. It's the same thing with your paddle stroke. The better you are with your paddle, the more calm you are when you push into bigger stuff and have to make moves.
Sure. Right on.
It's all about efficiency.
Sure.
And that's where you move out of beginner into intermediate, advanced, intermediate.
Right on.
Whenever I was training for the race, I'll just paddle the Ocoee solo.
Right.
But whenever I would get tired doing power strokes, forward strokes, rest and just sweep strokes.
Sure.
That's how you rest. But I never learned to read water like I was supposed to. That's what I need to work on whenever I get to the level of picking up speed.
Right.
If I want to race. Kind of like the aerodynamics of how water moves around the rock.
Sure.
It picks up speed when it goes around the rock.
Right.
That's why I was slow.
That's that eagle's nest right there. See that black spot in that tree? Almost dead center of the river.
Oh yeah.
Looks like a squirrel's nest from here, but that's their nest.
Yeah.
And it, like I say, every now and again you'll get the treat of seeing them both up there. Don't know if they've had any chicks or not that lived, but they've been up there for a couple years. I'm gonna assume that you prefer river left over here.
I don't care.
3 chutes.
There's an eddy that I like to catch river left, but if I'm in a short enough boat or a play boat, I like to go river right and play. So it's kind of, I'm about 50-50. Have you ever seen anyone squirt boating on river right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the old mystery move.
Yeah.
Bruh, the first time I saw that, I was like, no thank you. I do my best to stay above water. Yeah, that what do they call that? The Leslie right there? Yeah.
First time I saw it was cat's pajamas down Coy.
Goodness.
Just right by them, like, what the crap was that? They just disappeared.
Yeah, it was the wildest. And the first time I saw one was actually up there at the Needle.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, it's just a guy practicing. He had just gotten it.
Yeah.
But I saw him from across the river from the tables.
Yeah.
I just put in there to, you know, do park and play.
Yeah.
And
that's what I was going to do, is just carry over to the Needle and then try to hang up. And
I do that quite a bit.
that's where I finished the boat.
I tell you what, man, the old boy I paddled with yesterday on the Teleco,
Yeah.
he had the best idea since sliced bread as far as I can tell. He has a bicycle that he carries with him.
Yeah.
He leaves his bike at the takeout, and then when he gets to the takeout, he locks his boat up, takes his bike back to his van. He makes his own shuttle.
Yeah.
Best idea in the world.
Kirk does a lot of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Smart. Makes sense.
this little 360 hole at the front of this island?
No, I don't.
But you know about it.
I do. Yeah, Christopher, unfortunately, I think you're on your fucking own in this boat.
Try and catch that eddy behind that little bitty horn over there. I'm addicted to it. It took me forever to figure out how to catch it when I was a beginner.
Did you get it?
Oh yeah. I finally turned this thing in. But I about flipped over whenever I came out the back of it. So is that a GoPro or is it a generic?
It's a GoPro. Probably one of the best investments that we've made as far as our enjoyment at home.
How much are they running now? Are they still?
This is the year model from the year before, so I think we picked it up for $150.
Oh, that ain't bad.
And we probably use it more than just about anything. I mean, because we kind of sit at home. I mean, we look at them like home movies.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, as far as things go, I mean, as far as skill sets and whatnot, about the only thing that me and Carrie actually care about is making sure that she, as well as me, is boned up on swift water stuff. We just want to make sure that if and when we get in trouble,
yeah,
we can help each other out. Yeah. Yeah, and actually that's something that Water itself is kind of a old hat kind of thing. Most of my enjoyment comes from surfing, honestly. That and just being out on the water.
Yeah, I really like to surf. I got into where I enjoyed front surfing, then I fell in love with side surfing. Then after Joe got to stick me in holes, it's like, how can I get out? There's a hole. It's at double something. No, it's a double trouble. That little hole on the river left side, it's kind of sticky.
It's a lot of sticky holes.
Yeah.
For me.
It's like the first baby hole that you can get in. It's like you have to really try to get in it. It'll just keep spitting you out.
Right, but then once you're in, you're locked.
Like,
yeah.
How do I get out of this thing?
Yeah, then you're locked in.
Yeah. You have to know how to get out of it.
Yeah, that's one thing the Marine Corps did for me pretty well. I was the combat water safety survival instructor, which means I taught the instructors how to do it. So I would drop them off in the ocean, you know, 5-10 miles offshore, and then we'd supervise. But the training to get to that point was fairly intense.
Yeah.
So water itself doesn't bother me.
So you're probably pretty calm when it comes to a lot of this.
Water, yeah. Water and current, they don't scare me at all.
Yeah.
So if I start to get in trouble, I'm not panicking most of the time.
Yeah.
I generally come over here unless you want to go that way.
It don't matter. I was looking for the surf booth. I think it's back up there.
Yeah, it's right here. Haha.
Definitely not what they used to be.
Oh, no. Yeah. Nor mine.
I hit that rock and about tipped over. I just stabbed like a shovel down in the water instead of brakes. I was like, no, wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't think I need to go to the Ocoee yet. Not ready. I can probably stay up because there's no rocks to really. No little screw you rocks to tip you over that much.
Right. That fog is something else this morning.
Yes, it's beautiful.
It is. It really is.
It would be horrible out on the Nantahala.
Yeah, I bet.
You wouldn't be able to see 20 feet.
Neat. I figured I'd see that big longboat come zipping up here in a second.
Paddle backwards a little bit. Exercise some of the muscle I haven't used, but just keep the skin out.
Yeah. That mist is a treat for me. It's really neat.
Have you seen it out here? It's really hot water, like 8 or 10,000 CFS.
Yeah, I've been coming out here for about 6 years. I've only been paddling for, you know, less than one, but I've been fishing out here since I moved here. Me and Carrie moved out here in 2017, I think. I got a little place out in the country in Madisonville.
Where's Madisonville?
Right there.
Okay.
I mean, really close.
Yeah.
You know where Tellico Plains is?
Yeah.
Tellico Plains.
Okay.
I'm 8 miles from Tellico Plains.
Yeah, I like to ride, was it 68 that goes through there? I like to go up 68. Okay.
Yep. I have pretty easy access to 68 and 411, actually, which is pretty convenient for this stuff. Lots of rivers you can get to from 68 and 411. Probably the favorite spot on the river for most people.
Yep. Ride that green wave over.
Yeah.
Or just surf.
I won't surf there, not at that wave. I'll surf at the next 3 or that one. But that one right there,
Why not?
it's 2 currents coming together at the same time, and I don't have the, whether it's the paddle dexterity or the butt dexterity to handle it.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to kind of sneak out and ferry into it. It's
Oh, I've done it.
yeah. And then,
Generally.
yeah. I don't like to do S-turns here in long boats. Shorter boats, it's a lot easier, but these get turned real easy, and I don't like it.
I was hesitant to say something on camera before, but I think I've kind of made up my mind now, so I don't care anymore. This ain't the boat for me.
Really?
Yeah. I do not like the way this paddles.
Well, the tail loads up on it, or?
No, it's just, I don't like the way it paddles. It feels, to me, it feels like a barge.
I like narrow boats and hard chines.
Well, I mean, that's the Axiom. And the Axiom's a narrow half slice with almost no bow rocker and 0 stern rocker, and I love it.
I started to buy the first gen Ripper, and I'm like, I think I'd like that. But it's been so long since I've paddled anything, I'm like, I just gotta buy something. I can demo a lot of stuff, but it's like, I might as well buy something and just paddle it and get used to it.
The only reason I haven't gone towards a rewind is just because it's so damn long if you get a large.
Yeah.
And I wanted a shorter half slice.
Yeah. What's Jackson's
Antics.
Yeah.
I haven't sat in one yet to see if my feet will fit.
I've heard they've got a lot of bow.
I mean, it's a big bow.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think they probably would fit, but I just wish to God that I could figure something out on the medium Axiom. I'm thinking about maybe just taking the bulkhead out and maybe just sticking a block of foam up front and seeing if I can fit. Because the medium Axiom, weight-wise, I'd be right in the middle.
You could probably, if you do like some of the thinner, sloppier play boats,
Yeah.
you could probably, once your feet forward, if you shape your foam a little bit so your toes are forward.
Right.
Because I mean, I wear 12s and I had to move the seat back.
Right.
But I fit in a large Loki. I re-drilled the seat and moved it back, whatever their spacing was, like an inch. But I couldn't wear socks.
Yeah.
I couldn't wear any shoes. I had socks.
I know you know what a stomper is.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a Stomper 90 at my house, which is the big one.
Yeah.
If I put shoes on,
Yeah.
like river shoes, I can't ride that boat. So that's, so I mean, actually it's size 14, but I can paddle in it if I have just the booties on.
Yeah.
Of course, I've gotten to where I hate paddling that boat. That thing's like just a wet potato there.
Yeah. On the back, man. That's as tight as it gets. I'm like, oh, I need one more. Need to work on the punch. Need to work on the paddle. I just gotta get to it.
Sounds like you got your work cut out for you.
Yeah.
Are you going down?
Can you adjust the feather on that paddle?
Yep. A lot of people made fun of me for this paddle too. Bunch of people.
Really?
I got called an idiot.
Why?
Because it's an aqua mount.
I thought about buying one, but hell, I couldn't find them.
I don't regret it at all. Not even a tiny bit.
I wouldn't mind having one since you can adjust it, because I wouldn't mind having a zero through it.
I've got that much in length, and then I've got infinite feather.
Yeah.
I generally paddle with 45.
Yeah. I like 45, but I wouldn't mind having a 0 degree.
Right. A playboat buddy of mine used it the other day and got super jealous for that reason, because he put it at 0 and he was like, oh my god, this is the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah. What length do you paddle?
Right now 200 is where it's at, but I probably prefer 203 if I'm in a better boat.
Yeah, if I could have got a 203, I would have.
And Gridger is the one that talked me into that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, this is the second one of these. The first one was 197 to 204 was the length, and during a lesson he set it to 203 and 45.
Yep.
And in my axiom I was instantly a better boater, and that convinced me that I went home that evening and talked to Carrie, because she's just getting into this also.
Yeah.
So she's also getting gear and anyway, that she inherited that paddle, and then we got this one for me, which is 200 to 206. Man, I tell you what, this is a great place for photography too.
Yeah, yeah.
The contrast out here is really amazing. I mean, that's... And the other day coming across, I was in this boat going through Devil Shoals, and that's when I realized just how much bow rocker this thing has.
You were dry?
Oh, I actually don't like going through wave trains with this thing, man. Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah.
I would rather go through
This
it.
spears through it.
That's what my axiom does. And so when I was going through with this thing, I'm so used to going through that when I started bouncing up, I was like, what the hell? I didn't like that. It might just be that I'm just not used to it. But so far, it's not.
You're not clicking with it yet?
No, I'm definitely not feeling this boat.
Yeah, when I bought that flying squirrel, I knew it within 100 yards of the ramp. I'm like, oh, this ain't cool. And then I spun and swam, and I'm like, yeah, man, I ain't feeling it.
Yeah.
But I paddled it over here, and I'm like, I don't like it. And Kirk was like, yeah, you need to put it on some bigger water. And as soon as I put it on some bigger water, I'm like, yeah, my first impression was right. This boat sucked. Yeah. But I thought, I want to slow down. I don't want these fast boats. And I'm like, yeah, I want these fast boats. This boat sucks.
Yeah.
First impression was right. This thing sucks. Yeah, softer edges, slower. Nope, that ain't me.
This isn't soft edges. This is hard as the edge gets, but that being said, there's a bunch about this I just don't like. It's too wide, it's too much bow rocker. I don't like the reverse rocker on the back.
I want something that rewards me when I do it right and instantly tells me if I do it wrong.
See, this
gives me that feedback.
That's another thing about this. This ain't that.
Yeah.
Because this fucker will protect you. Like way more than you want it to. Like I should have been in trouble the other day several times on purpose.
Right.
I mean, I was just in that mood, you know. And it wouldn't let me get in trouble.
But that's also a product of you being so light in that boat.
Yeah.
You being at the bottom of the range.
Right.
It's probably softening the ride and protecting you.
Right. Yeah, I'm actually below the range.
Yeah.
Which that sucks. I have thought about putting some sandbags in here or something.
Yeah.
Like maybe up front.
Yeah. That would actually neutralize a lot of the boat's design if you could pull the bulkhead out and throw a couple of bags of bees or something, or a sandbag or something, tip ballast forward and take a lot of that stern rocker out.
Right. I've thought about it. I may do it. I mean, because like I said, this is a demo, so.
Yeah. That will tell you more about the design of the boat and weight range.
Right. I do know enough people that have paddled it that are in the weight range that love it. That makes me think that if I were in the right weight, I mean, I might have a different opinion.
If we could add 20 pounds just in front of the seat, behind the seat, you might.
Right.
Really like
This arthritis in my arm is not helping either.
You mind going in the creek and let me see how warm that water is?
Let's do it, man.
It's very warm. I'm going to flip over.
Yeah?
I guess in the creek, I may have to go to the flat water at the house if the lake is dry home.
Yeah, and then, you know, there's that other creek too up there by, of course, that's after our takeout, since we swapped takeouts. So P Creek it is.
Yeah.
You're awful close to the takeout. I was trying to think. I don't really think there's any good eddies right there by where we're at. It's deep right there, but it's also still in current. And that little creek right there where you kind of can park at and crawl up the hill is, I mean, it's just nasty right there. It's probably your only chance. I mean, out of current.
I'm at the lake over there by the house, like at I live right there in Saudi, the lake. It was pretty warm though. Of course,
I mean, dude, if you want, I mean, I've got no plans. I mean, I'd be happy to stop at the tables if you want to sit there in the pool and roll it a few times. Do you know what I'm talking about? So, direct river across the river from where the needle's at.
Yeah.
There. Yeah, there's a pool right there that's completely out of current.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I mean, you can actually stand, I mean, you can actually have roll practice there with somebody standing up.
There's probably someone fishing.
With this current, it'd be surprised. I mean, there might be somebody crazy. They're not going to catch anything right now.
Yeah, I'll live.
Roger that.
I'll probably still got it.
Roger.
You a gambling man?
Huh?
You a gambling man?
No, not really.
It's only cold water.
I mean, I'll tell you if you need it.
That's what I was thinking.
I got in your way, brother.
I'll let it slide. That's cold water.
I thought your hands were tapping, but they weren't.
No, I was trying to set up again.
Roger that.
My knee hurts.
It does it?
From this thigh block.
Goodness. I'll stay a lot further back if you want to try it again. And I'll hang out until you do this.
I was thinking, point your head towards your shoulder and feel where I didn't have the rotation of the paddle anywhere where it was supposed to be. Yeah, that was the last thing in my head. I'm like, where's the paddle? Oh, point your head.
This boat's not really a whole bunch of fun to row. It's one thing I noticed the other day. It kind of rolls and it flips and
Notchy.
yeah. It's like click, click.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too is it's so damn big. The first time I actually hit my boat trying to sweep. I have to do this though because I'm old.
Yeah, I got a little water in my nose. I'm thinking about putting everything together again. So your paddle didn't skim on the surface. It went where it was set up. You were 10 inches or a foot above it. And you went straight down.
Yeah.
Almost like you were pushing off the bottom.
Yeah, I would.
No, I'm just saying it went, but your boat rotated up as it was going straight down.
Yeah.
Like your hips now brought the boat up.
It did.
The paddle didn't do anything.
It didn't. It doesn't do much.
Yeah.
I've had a bunch of different people, including Aragon. It's for me. It's almost all hip snap that brings me up.
Right. Yeah, your boat snapped up and then just flopped over.
Yeah.
That's probably why it feels notchy.
Well, it's not the only reason. Now, anyway, I'm talking about when it's going over.
Oh, okay.
It's clunky. Coming up, it's not really that much of a thing. Although I prefer my half slice.
I need this boat.
I like laying down on the back deck a lot more than I can do on this one. I'm not flexy enough to get backwards on this one.
That's probably why it hurt as well. And whenever I went to push, I jammed my knee into the sidewall. I'm not tight enough in the boat.
That'll do it.
Yeah, I went to push and hip snap and I just jammed my right knee into the sidewall of the boat. I gotta think it's been a few days since I've done this.
Well, I mean, I think you said 6 years.
Yeah.
I think you're doing great.
It's hard to diagnose what you're doing wrong when you can't remember how to do it. When I flipped, or when I set back up, I'm like, wait a minute, head's got to go here. And I was feeling with the pedal, I'm like, I'm supposed to do something with this.
Well, I mean, saying that, you'll get a kick out of this. I was running lesser wester the other day, and I was in my Axiom, which on that particular day that worked against me. I took a pretty aggressive line that I took the line on purpose.
Yeah.
I was trying to skirt top hole,
Right.
but just like right on the edge of top hole, and I ended up going square into top hole. There was more flow than I counted on. I didn't peel out soon enough. You know, just a litany of crap. But when I came over top hole, man, that stern just immediately just completely loaded, stood me straight up vertical. I was in there looking like this, and it was a beautiful day. It was the same day they were running all the inflatables.
Oh yeah, it was Lester, Wesser, Messer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was having a blast. It was a good time. And then I was like, man, this is great. I wonder what's about to happen. And so I came down, and when I came down, I took a good strong stroke, came down, and I was diagonal facing upstream in top hole.
Oh.
I was like, well, this is not good. And of course, I probably was only there for like 1 second. And I have never seen so many bubbles in my life.
I was like, oh.
The aeration in that water upside down, and I swear to God, it mesmerized me. I couldn't tell left from right, and everybody was so confused that saw me, because they saw my setup, and everybody's, you've got the most beautiful setup in the world. I've got long arms.
Yeah.
So they saw my setup on one side, and then they saw like my head coming up on the other side. And anyway, I swam right there, but it was a lot of fun. It was a good day. I mean, there's days when you just are just happy to be alive, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That was one of them days.
One of them.
That was one of them days. It was just.
I've only ran that 3 or 4 times. I've never eddied out. I've just, like, at the top of the parking lot there, I've set up there, and I've never caught any of the eddies. I've just plowed through it and ran like the left side where, like, there's a line of current. I've ran to the left of it.
Yeah.
Whatever that line was called.
Traditional line.
Yeah. And like set up for everyone else, but.
Yeah. Traditional line, and then racer line is down the middle, and then they have the creek line, which is, you know, down that boulder on the right.
Yeah.
The prettiest line I've ever seen was a young lady. She was in a half slice. It might have been a ripper. But I swear to God, Buck, she did not take a single paddle stroke. I mean, we're talking about efficiency and beauty of, you know, of movement and whatnot.
Kind of like a slalom racer would do.
It was just
graceful,
just super graceful, minimal effort. Well, no effort, just lots of knowledge. And I mean, it was just, she almost didn't get wet.
Yeah.
It was like, how did you, if you could, talk about reading water, bro. If there was just like this tiny little laser line of green water, she found it.
There's that going through table saw.
Yeah.
And I've seen it in these boats because I'm far enough away from getting splashed out there. It's like there's a path of water that's this wide going through table saw, and I'm like, how am I on the freeway? It's like everything out there is raging, and I'm like, I'm dry. And seeing eddies, it's like there's a little eddy, there's a little eddy. I'm like, what's going on?
Well, you're saying you can't read water. That sounds like reading water to me.
It's just like everything's being calmed around me.
Yeah.
But the next time through, it's like I'm 4 inches offline, and it's just like I'm getting thrashed and spun and bracing, trying to stay up. And I'm like, I need to go back and run this again. Something's off.
The funny thing is, I had an unreasonable amount of fear about going into table saw in the tater, and it was just because I had run it in a hard boat before.
Yeah.
But the day that I went through the tater, man, I swear to God, if you ever, when you were younger, did you ever go to Astroworld in Houston? They used to have this big park in Houston called Astroworld, and they had these huge, monstrous roller coasters, and they had this one called the Texas Cyclone. For a while, it had the world record or something for the tallest. Running table saw in a tater to me is more fun than going in the Texas Cyclone. It was just a hoot, man. Anyway, it was a lot of fun.
I've never been further west than St. Louis. Just traveling around for work and stuff.
Right.
You picked up leaves on your stern. It's pretty funny. It's hanging off the back underside of it.
Oh yeah. Cool.
just had a lot of like anxiety running the Ocoee for the longest.
Uh-huh.
And finally it just kind of, it went away there.
Most of the people that I know that run it regularly, I mean, really refer to it as a playground.
Yeah.
I don't have enough knowledge of it to be there, but I can understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
I do know how to break rapids down and stuff, and I enjoy doing. I much prefer, like on S-turn at the Cartacay, instead of just running it, instead of bombing it, I like catching the eddies and setting up and look.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's more fun.
Yeah. Work the river instead of just.
And one thing that Spencer did impart for me that stuck, a lot of stuff didn't stick. But he has a philosophy that the more time you face upstream, the better you are.
Yeah.
And I believe that, and I really enjoy it. Like I like surfing, and I like attaining, and I like, you know, doing that kind of stuff. But no, my role, I know that my role is unconventional. It's not a C to C, and it's not a sweep. It's something.
Yeah.
It's something kind of in between.
Yeah.
But what you saw is pretty much how it looks almost every time.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I'm in my half slice, I come up a hell of a lot faster. I almost have a. I don't, but I'm on my back deck on that, in that half slice, and
There's huge fish going on here.
I'm trying to see what that. I think that's a snail.
Was my paddle was out of the water when I flipped over, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I was like, I thought I fell there.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. And I mean, you were kind of setting up like you were just going to brace off and snap up.
Yeah.
Is what I thought you were getting ready to do.
No, I just screwed it all up.
I was surprised when you didn't pop up.
Yeah. Makes two of us. Yeah. It totally makes two of us. I expected to pop up. I'm like, yeah, man, I got this. No, I don't.
Yeah.
That's why I set back up.
Probably, I don't know, maybe an eagle having dinner.
Like, is that dead fish in the water?
Oh sure, yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of a trout.
Yeah.
Backbone of a trout. Ready to go see what Devil Shows looks like?
Yeah.
Tell you what, it is colder in the river, a lot colder.
Now, whenever I turn my body, well, if I do it with a stroke,
Yeah.
the boat turns. I can torque the boat and turn it with my body.
Yeah.
I'm tight enough in it now.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's where it's supposed to be.
Boy, this water's cold. Did it get colder?
No, we just found warm water.
Goodness. Wow.
Now let me guess, we shoot over in front of that island?
Yep. And then it's right there. Cuts out all that really kind of miserable flat water.
Yeah. You got a couple of little jets you can serve on, but the rest of it's just flat water pond.
Feels like ice water compared to that creek, man. It is a little bit of an adventure getting up here, but it's not too bad.
depends on your balance. I have swam the takeout before.
Oh yeah, me too.
That's what's fun.
Yeah.
Big boat.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, I'm cold.
That's cold water.
Yeah.
I swear it's colder than when we got in. Of course, maybe it's just that we was in that warm for a second.
My famous saying is, whose stupid idea was this?
Right on.
When we flipped over. You're the one that's got the dry gear.
They leave you?
Sorry?
Somebody leave you? Oh, you're hiking.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Did you have a good paddle?
Yes, ma'am. Pretty day. Can't beat it.